and welcome back to a brand new video. And today, guys, we are going to be looking back at my highlights from round 7 and round 8 from the online racing league V8 Supercar series here at Sebring. This track, I'm going to talk about this track and sort of my expectations for this weekend. This was my fastest qualifying lap. Now, Sebring is really a track that I strongly dislike. Now, Sonoma, honestly, is probably one of my best tracks on this game. And then we moved to Sebring, which I feel is probably one of my weakest tracks, in all honesty. I don't know what... Obviously, it's just about how bad the curves are around this track, and they are really, really bad. But my quali lap was pretty damn appalling. Unfortunately, every other lap, I made just the tiniest of mistakes, which invalidated it. Like on my final lap, I was 8 tenths up, and then I just got too close to the tyre wall on the final corner there, which unfortunately invalidated the lap. But that would have put me in A lobby, guys. But this lap, unfortunately, was only good for second in B lobby here. So, we're once again in B lobby, the A lobby dream I'm hoping for. Hopefully it'll be next week. But, coming into Sebring, I was hoping I could potentially keep up my podium streak. If I did end up in sort of the top end of the lower lobby, then I was hoping, maybe I could take another win like I managed to last week out. But, the caliper of drivers this week, it was quite interesting. Because we saw a lot of the really top guys not be able to make this race. And then we saw quite a few of new top guys be able to make this race. So we saw about 12 really, really good guys. I'd say sort of the top 8 that made it into A lobby would always be in A lobby. And then we kind of saw that there was probably another 10 that could have made it if they'd hooked up good laps around this circuit, which I'd like to think, including myself. If I'd actually been able to make my final lap clean, then I would have been, I think, on P13, P14 on the grid for A lobby there. So, I was a bit disappointed, that we did invalidate my final lap. We could just see, having a look at this lap, it wasn't particularly great, I'm just not being able to get close to the apexes, although you don't really want to be hitting them in these cars, especially around this circuit where curves are just such a pain. But coming around down the final couple of corners here, my car was very much corner orientated, I really like to run quite a aerodynamically heavy setup. I like to reduce the wheel spin on the cars and try to make them good for launching out corners, but they really, really do struggle top end, which, as you will see in these couple of races, really did kind of cost me. But coming around the final corner, though, I think my lap was a 2 minute 8.8, which, as I said, not a particularly good lap. But bearing in mind, I'd only done about 5 laps worth of practice moving on into this race there, so, I wasn't too worried about it. I basically realised about 2 hours before, and then I had this race tonight, so hooked up a quick setup. And, just went into it from there. As you can just see, that's one of the tiny mistakes I made on my third lap there. Just hitting the wall on the inside of turn 1 there. But as I said, guys, we are down in B lobby. We actually started second on the grid in B lobby here, as you can just see. We are right behind Torn's, I think that's 71 or 91, I can't exactly read that. But, we're going at 5 minute 15 here. So, hoping that I can hook up a good launch down into the run into turn 1. You can go side by side here, and if you get the corner right, you can be able to get the momentum at the corner there, but it's 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and it's lights out, and away we go there, guys. And unfortunately, I bogged down the start absolutely massively. Birch there is going to try and run side by side with me down towards turn 1 there. I'm just going to give him the room on the inside, hope to maximise my run out of the corner there. But coming around turn 1, he just drifts a little bit wide into my line there, but Roman Karp going straight into the back of him there, and absolutely pile driving him around the corner, has completely nearly taken Birch out there somehow. He managed to catch that car on the exit there, but Roman Karp there, you could just see being so aggressive down towards turn 1. I think he started 6th on the grid there and just dive-bombed his way up into second there by the end of the corner there, so not really too sure what we could say about that. But coming around the exit of the corner there, I'm going to try and have a look round his outside there, but he defends from that, so I'm going to try and go for almost like a switchback move there. I'm going to try and look down the inside, down towards the hairpin here, if we can outbrake him, park it on the apex, then we should be very good, and that's what we're going to be able to do, try and avoid the inside curve there, force him a little bit wide on the exit there, but give him room over the curves there, and we managed to make the move up into P2 once again there. So got back up into my starting position. You could just see already how much of a gap Torns has been able to pull away there. So, hoping during these next few laps that, if I can get a bit of space between myself and Roman Karp, I should be able to close in the gap on Torns there. Because I thought, I've got the pace to hopefully be leading this race here, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. But moving on now to the end of lap 4 here, as you can see the gap really hasn't come down that much. Torns, a very, very consistent driver in his ability. I think I was ever so slightly quicker, but I just kept making very, very small mistakes, which is why up to this point I wasn't able to catch him up in this race here. But you can just see I ran a 2 minute 8, 0.4 there on that lap, which was fairly good. I think my best in this race was a 2 minute 8.0, So, you know, proving that I could be able to get those good laps. But coming down in towards turn 1 there, I just clipped the inside wall. And, you know, we've got DTM Uderson just behind me now, so he's a very, very quick driver here. But Torn's just ahead of me, hits the curb on the entrance to turn 2 there, and just runs a little bit wide, and that completely costs him on turn 3 and 4 there. He goes into the grass, and that's now put me up in the lead of the Grand Prix. So just as I say how consistent he is in this race, he unfortunately then makes a mistake. So now I've just got to defend from Uderson. And fortunately for me, that was basically all that happened in this first race of the evening, you know. I was able to just to put a little bit away from Uderson there. So, you know, I took home the first race win there of the evening. So very, very happy that, you know, I keep my podium streak alive from every race so far, I think, in this online racing league series. But, you know, P1 in that first race there, very, very happy that proved that I had some very, very good pace. Moving on to race 2, that will unfortunately mean that I start down in last place there. Means that I've got to try and make a fight through the field here, but obviously we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But now moving on then into race 2 here, you can see DTM just ahead of me, hoping, you know, I can try and get past him in the early stages of the race. But we've also got another quick driver of ACR Datsun further up the grid there after he got caught out in a couple of little incidents in race 1 there. But it's, we're nearly ready to go here in race 2. I think it was 6:20 we opted to set off at there, and yes we do, and I get off to a much better start there in race 2 there. DTM bogging down absolutely massively there. Unfortunately, I think he sort of half stalled the car there down towards turn 1 there. We're going to try and keep it clean and consistent through the corner there. You know, we want to try and let everyone else have instance of ahead of me. You can see there's a lot of banging around there, and unfortunately for me, the guy in the blue, I can't see who he is, unfortunately just comes straight across me there. I just got pinched in between him, and I'm not too sure who the other guy was. I think it was ACR0 there. But I did apologise to him there, and he said there was nothing really I could do about it. You know, he lost the back end on the exit of the corner there, but fortunately for me, you know, we got no damage there. And we came out of that incident fairly unscathed there. But as I said, you know, we apologised to each other. It was basically just a racing incident. He accepted that as well. But unfortunately for him, you know, that's put him backwards in the wall on the exit of turn 1 there. But now, as you can see, we're already over to P6 there, though. So, you know, we've made a good few positions there. But Datsun is, even though after that appalling start from himself there, he's already up to P4, defending from Roman Cart there, who somehow manages to squeeze him over the curbs there, force him a little bit wide there. Roman, quite a forceful driver in this league, and a lot of people, you know, we want to stand our ground against each other, so, you know, there probably will be a bit of, you know, paint swapping during this Grand Prix here. But DTM Uderson tries to go around down the inside of Roman Cart once again there, but that's not going to be able to work for him here. So, you know, just trying to minimise the wheel spin at these next couple of corners. Everyone seems to lose the back end through there. But coming down into the next corner there, DTM runs hugely wide there, just avoiding Roman Cart there, but goes onto the grass, unable to get up the inside there, you know, fairly textbook move there. And I'm into P5 now, we go, and just once again there, Sebring just catching out people who just don't fully concentrate on this track. But now moving on then, further on into the race, lap 5 here, you can see Roman Cart and Torns are fighting. So now I was kind of eyeing this up here, you know, if maybe they cost each other a bit of time, I was hoping, you know, I could try and squeeze past both of them at the same position, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. They're both quite quick drivers, you know, I think I've got a bit of a pace advantage over the pair of them here, so, you know, I was feeling quite confident that maybe, you know, I could be able to try and get past both of them in one instant. Maybe, you know, if they just make a little bit of contact and force each other wide there. But Torns exploring South Miami there, how wide he ran through that corner there, but, you know, still, you know, maybe, as I said, if Torns says go for a little bit of a rash dive bomb into the next couple of corners here, I should be able to try and get past both of them here. I was kind of hoping, you know, if I held back, you know, that would pay off for me here. But Torns pushes Roman Carp a little bit wide there. He loses the back end on the exit of the corner, and we've got a very, very good run on the pair of them here. We're going to be able to get alongside Torns. But unfortunately, based on the momentum, we're not going to be able to get alongside Roman Carp there. We just get squeezed over the curves, which means I lose the back end ever so slightly, but go around the outside of Torns there. And now I've just got to try and make a move on Roman Carp. He runs a little bit wide into the next corners there. We're going to try and go for a switchback move, avoid the curves, go right up to the white paint there, but he runs wide on the corner. But unfortunately, I just clipped the curb there where someone was leaving the party. I couldn't see where the rear wheel on the car there was, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the move there. But you could just see how much extra straight line speed Roman Carp has over myself at this stage of the race. You can just see, I lose so much momentum. So I'm into 4th and 5th gear there, and you can see Torns had to think about going up the inside there, but there's only really one solid line through that final corner there, and unfortunately for him, that was the line I took. But now skipping on further on to the race, on the end of lap 9 here, I'm going to dive into the pit lane. Roman Carp spots that and just dives in very, very rashly. So, you know, I was hoping he would kind of get the weaving glitch down the pit lane, so maybe, you know, we might see a Forza undercut pit stop here, but, you know, I highly, highly doubt that's going to be able to happen. Datsun there, that currently was in the net lead of the Grand Prix there. He's basically got a pit stop advantage over myself there, so, you know, not really what we wanted. But coming out of the pit box here, are we going to be able to get the jump on Roman Karp here? Unfortunately, we're not. He's going to be 15 feet ahead of me here, which means my car is just inside the back end of his car here. So coming down to the end of the pit lane, unfortunately, my eye is going to break, and I'm not going to be able to steer out of the pit box there, unfortunately. Just running hugely wide there. Just a little, you know, just a little bit of a glitch that you get on Forza sometimes if you are so close to another car at the end of the pit lane there. So, you know, I lost a couple of 100 feet from that. Torns has actually been able to undercut us both there during a couple of laps shorter in his first stint there. But now moving on to lap 15 here, you know, Torns has been able to pull away a little bit as Roman and I have made a couple of little mistakes each. I just completely lost all consistency in the second half of this race here, you know. I was hoping, you know, as you can see Roman Karp going very, very sideways here, that I might be able to get back past him very, very soon. And hopefully, you know, I've got 4 laps. Maybe I could catch up to Torns just ahead of him there. But coming down this sort of long back straight, even though half of it's a corner here, you know, hoping we can eye up a move on Roman Karp there. We go very, very looking down the inside there. But we're going to go for the switchback here around the outside of him into the corner there. He forces me a little bit wide there. He then forces me right over the curbs there, really not wanting to give me any room there, but I'm going to try and fight my ground as we now have to try and hold it around his outside. It turns to the inside for the next corner there. He's still trying to force me off the track there. As you can see, going into the next corner there, he turns in on me slightly there, loses the back, and he tags me once again. And unfortunately, that's me in the wall, and I just clip sort of like a little outbit on the wall there, and that's unfortunately my race basically over there. Fortunately for me, you know, we did have another car that was damaged as well in, you know, a slightly separate incident there, but at the same part of the circuit. So that does mean there was a safety car. But unfortunately, after all of that, guys, there was nothing more than I could do than 6th place there in that race. You know, a bit disappointed with that in the end. After Roman being very, very aggressive, you know, he got lucky that he didn't get caught out far more in that. And I just feel, you know, if he hadn't tried to force me off, you know, maybe we could have both carried on in better positions there. But 6th place overall in that second race, you know, we can still take the advantage that, you know, we had a good win in the first one there. But that's, you know, a very, very good win for him. Torns once again having a strong show in there. But GG to those guys. You can see, I think that was Roman up in 3rd place there in the end. So I could have had that 3rd place there. But unfortunately, you know, P6 in that race there, guys. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more of my ORL highlights, guys. And I will see you next time.
So promise that you'll catch me.